Hey guys, this is PODFIC, and today we're going to be reading No Tricks, Only Treats by Chaotic MB. The summary is, I'll make you a deal. Make it home before 8 tonight, and next year, I'll dress up as Batman. It better be a good Batman costume. The best, Jason assured, already formulating a plan as to how he could steal one of Bruce's suits. Maybe get Steph to help him put the Red Hood bat on the front of it. She always enjoyed being in on his pranks. Deal. Or Jason takes care of Crime Alley during Halloween and gets dragged into sibling bonding time after. Alright, without further ado, let's hop right in. Jason shifted the backpack on his shoulders, looking down at the streets of Crime Alley as the sun began to set over Gotham. It was early for him to be on patrol, but he wanted to make sure he made his presence known tonight. He grappled down to the street, landing quietly and beginning to walk around the winding, narrow streets. A series of roughly carved pumpkins greeted him, flickering candlelight illuminating their faces on shock, fear, and joy. A few were painted rather than carved, quite a few red bats making him smile under his helmet. "Hood, get over here!" He turned to see an older woman waving him over to her porch, and he hurried to her doorstep. She crossed her arms, looking him up and down before nodding in satisfaction and gesturing to his bag. "I hope you're not up to any trouble tonight." "Of course not, abuela," Jason assured her. "Did you have a new grocery list for me? I'm planning to run in the next few days." "Silly boy, just take care of yourself. You know how these streets get on this night. I'll make sure the kids have a good time." Abuela nodded in approval, patting him on the shoulder. He slid the backpack off, digging around inside before pulling out a series of Tupperware containers. "I washed all of them. Figured you'd want them back." "If you lost these, I would drive you out of the alley myself." "Good to see you too," Jason said with a laugh. "I'll send someone by tomorrow for the list." "Mm-hmm," she said with a disapproving hum. "Now get out of here. You've got more important people waiting on you." Jason wrapped her in a quick hug before hurrying off her steps as she shooed him away, and he waved once more before heading down the street with the bag in his hand. He stopped by a few other houses, dropping off boxes of chocolates they'd asked for. Once his initial round was done, the sun had set properly and children started emerging into the streets in their costumes, empty bags or pillowcases clutched in their hands. "Trick or treat!" a small group shouted as they approached him, and he dug into his bag to toss a few pieces of candy to each of them. "Happy Halloween, kids." "Where's your costume?" a young girl asked, a hand on her hip. "What do you mean?" Jason asked, tilting his head to the side. "I'm the Red Hood." "Yeah, but you're in that costume every night. You should do a different costume for Halloween." The other kids all nodded in agreement, and Jason was grateful that the helmet covered the grin he couldn't stop from spreading across his face. "I'll make you a deal. Make it home before 8 tonight, and next year I'll dress up as Batman." "It better be a good Batman costume." "The best," Jason assured, already formulating a plan as to how to steal one of Bruce's suits. Maybe get Steph to help him put the Red Hood bat on the front of it. She always enjoyed being in on his pranks. "Deal. Good. Now get moving. There's lots of places waiting for you all." The kids scurried off, and Jason continued his walk. He handed out candy to all the kids he saw along the way, having to stop himself when the early groups came back for seconds. He told a few kids off for carrying real knives with the costumes, handed out a few dulled batarangs for little Batmans he did see, before finding himself at the edges of Crime Alley. Mostly the usual working girls were hanging out in a group, away from their usual post to ensure the kids were able to have the best night possible without the disturbance of their client. He approached them all with a wave, and they all smiled before producing an offering of his first cigarette. "Not tonight, girls." "Man, the bat is wearing off on you too much," Ruby said with a whine, but the grin she shared with him told him it was only teasing. "Next thing you know, he'll be beating any man who comes within 10 feet of us." "You saying I'm bad for business? I think your costume does that for you." He chuckled, dodging her swat at his head as he took in her sexy devil costume. A little too on the nose with her name, if the sparkling horns peeking out from her blonde hair were anything to go by. "Ignore her," Kitty cut in, wearing an equally revealing cat outfit. "You're always welcome here, Ed. Just checking on y'all before I start my usual patrol. I got a little worried not seeing you in your usual spots." "It's like you said last week," Kitty explained with a shrug. "Want the kids to have the alley for themselves. Seen anyone about who might want to change that plan?" A few guys were wandering by, talking about maybe trying to start a fight, but I think they were heading further into town. "It's alright. I'll keep an eye out. Have a happy Halloween." "Be safe, Hood. And wear a proper costume next year," Ruby shouted after him. "How will you know it's me?" Oh, we know. They all shared a look, and he sighed before walking away. He did his best to hide his identity, and when he grew up in the alley, everyone knew everyone. No one bothered to bring up the fact that he was supposed to be dead. They just accepted he was back and he was helping how he could. Following his usual patrol route, his comm eventually chimed in his ear before Oracle's voice filtered into his helmet. Hood, good to see you. What's up, Barbie? What's happening, Barbie? Small robbery a few blocks from you. Can you deal with it? On it. Oh, and Nightwing wants you to check your phone. He began grappling across the rooftops, arriving at the coordinates Oracle had set him. He landed and saw that these were very clear images. Taking a moment to check his phone. Movie night? Manor? Jason shook his head, lowering himself to the streets behind the burglars. Boo. They jumped, spinning around with fists flying wildly. Jason almost felt bad for them, easily subduing the three of them and tying them together on the ground. Fellas, look, I get being desperate, but theft is a craft you need to practice before you try and Gotham. Where did you learn this? Metropolis? Low blow. Oracle cut through his comms. Anyways, Gotham PD are spread thin tonight. Why make them waste their time on you? You could not call them, one of the would-be thieves muttered. Oh, sure, could do that. Jason mused, tapping his holstered gun on his thigh. He watched the man that spoke swallow hard. But I don't need troublemakers in my territory. So if I don't call them, then I get to deal with you my way. Another of the men immediately began spouting intelligible pleas, and Jason just sighed before clocking across the back of his head. He slumped forward, and his friends joined them moments later. Oh? Yeah, someone will pick him up later. Thanks. Are you going to see Nightwing? It's a little early to wrap up for Halloween. Batman and Robin have the big threats of the night handled. Bluebird and Black Bat are out too. If something happens in the alley, I'll send them over. You're in on this then. You try resisting the hurt puppy look, Barbara argued, and Jason nodded in understanding. If it makes you feel better, he's not trying to get alone time with you. It was a mass text sent out to all of the Titans, and maybe that was... I didn't look too deep into it. Fine, Jason muttered. Twist my arm more. I barely twisted at all, Barbara laughed. Admitted Hood, you're going soft. Hardly a surprise. Damien's voice cut in on the line. Robin, is something wrong? No. Grayson has simply been bothering me, asking if I had seen Hood out tonight. All right, baby bat. I'll relieve you of the mother hen. Better make sure Gotham isn't burning when we're done tonight. I am capable, unlike the rest of you. Sure. Like talking on the private line within earshot of Batman? Oracle asked, and Damien hurriedly shut off his comm. Damn. It's fine. I'll get a new line set up tomorrow, Oracle said with a soft sigh. You should get to the manor before someone gets too worried. Jason nodded to himself, moving through the streets to the safe house he had been staying at. Climbing onto his bike, he sped through the cool evening that had settled over the city. It was a relatively quick ride, and once he had changed out of his gear in the cave, he made his way up to the theater room. Little Wing! Good, we were just going to get started. Dick was sitting with the Titans, a spread of snacks shared between them. The outlaws all waved from the floor at the front of the room, with Roy gesturing for him to sit. Bizarro held out a bucket of popcorn for him. Tim and Musty Young Justice crowded at the back of the room, sending a quick wave in his direction as they settled in. We better be watching something good, Dickface, Jason said as Corey tossed a blanket over him. I wish to participate in the Halloween ritual of the Time Warp, she said excitedly. I have heard there is a film which will show us. Jason raised a questioning eyebrow at Dick, who froze for a moment before relenting. We're all adults here. Rocky Horror it is. Good. You know you'll keep Jay here longer since it's a musical. Roy chuckled, ducking as Jason tried to hit him. Tim, have you seen this before? Connor asked, and the youngest bird shook his head. Oh boy, Jason said with a laugh, and Dick's face fell. I can't wait to tell Bruce that you ruined Timmy's innocence. We can still... Nope. Let's get going, folks. Jason grinned. We're going to have a fun night. Alright guys, then that's the end of No Tricks, Only Treats by Chaotic MB. I hope you guys liked it, and see you next video.